thank you everybody for coming out and covering this event. I've given you all a log of 7 pages which details the history of what Sheriff Arpaio and his office have done in order to smear Dan Saban over the years. Dan Saban lived exemplary life. He retired from the Mesa Police Department, having been an exemplary officer and a pride to his uniform, with no problem until he decided to run against Sheriff Joe Arpaio. A long series of investigations have occurred in which the Sheriff's Department, whether it's Sheriff Arpaio or Dave Hendershot, or whether it's their attorney, Dennis Willencheck, have asked various agencies to investigate the same allegations that are contained within the commercial that they published just 2 days ago. Each time it was presented to an outside source, whether it was the Maricopa County Sheriff's own special prosecutor who told them that there was no merit, whether it was Mesa police detectives that said there was no merit, they kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. When they send it to one agency, they don't tell them that the other agency's already looked at it. So they have a new fresh set of eyes, and it gets rejected once again. It's the same tired lies he's been telling. I'd like to tell you just about one of the examples from the commercial itself that we took. In the commercial, you hear a quote from Dan Saban, but it's only part of the quote. And I've given you the actual deposition testimony so you can hear for yourself the fact that this was misrepresentation in order to mislead the public into thinking that Dan Saban was anything other than an honorable person. It would be the same as asking someone, do you remember in the last deposition where you were asked about jaywalking, and you say yes, and then you say jaywalking, yes. Cutting it so that it misrepresents the facts. This is part of a long history that began with a phone call from a woman named Ruby Norman, and it ended this last 2 days ago when they spread a commercial filled with lies and innuendos and said there's 2 sides to this story. We're here to tell you there are 2 sides to this story. There's the true side and there's the malicious lies that Arpaio would like to spread. In any event, what I've done is also given you the documentation from the various organizations that have investigated this. I'm not a good speaker. People pay me to be their lawyer. Sometimes I'm surprised at that. But I know when I hear the truth, and I know when the truth speaks, it has power. We've given you the facts in these materials. One of the things in these materials are all the reputations to the commercial itself. We hear that earlier today the Republican Party pulled that advertisement from the airwaves because they were embarrassed about what they could put out there. But we point out to you that at this point, why pay for it? Here we are talking about the advertisement for free. It's a business decision at this point. It's not honor. Honor is that the Republican Party goes and requests that you all pull everything off of the internet about these lies. Yesterday, I concluded a lifetime of being a Republican by going and registering as a Democrat. These type of shameful tactics should never be used, whether it's politics or not. If you have the truth, you should tell the truth. Thank you.
Where's Dan?
I don't know. You know, he's not here. You know, I know that he has lots of obligations and lots of places to be. You can ask Bill where.
Dan, as we get closer to election day, Dan's schedule is just piling up and piling up, and he just did not have time to be here. He's just got a lot of stuff going on this afternoon.
You sued for slander, didn't win.
Yes.
Suing for harassment. What makes you think you'll be more successful this time around?
Well, we're not suing for harassment. We're fighting back right now. We are not. This is not going to be something. When Dan Saban is the sheriff of Maricopa County, he's not suing the department. If Dan Saban is relying on the truthfulness of you reporters, on your hard work, on your effort in actually reading this stuff rather than just listening to bullet points in order to get to the truth. Thank you all.
So, are you taking any legal action or not this time?
As of this day, we're not taking any legal action.
Your colleague said that you were going to file a harassment lawsuit.
Well, you know, if I could, you know, I file lawsuits. And as of this date, our plan is to fight this head on in the media, to fight it where it was created, and just knock it down once and for all. We think by this point that the entire lies that they've been telling, no one buys them anymore. They've been rejected time and time again. You know, if you went to the jury trial, you listened to Dan's brothers, both support him. You listen to his stepfather at the time that these events allegedly occurred, support him. You listen to person after person stepping forward and supporting Dan. And at that same trial, the attorney for Sheriff Arpaio told the jury in the form of a question to Chief Deputy Hendershot. He literally said, Chief Deputy Hendershot, isn't it true that Ruby Norman has a stroke and can't be here at trial? I didn't spend $1 of investigators' time in that case during trial that was wasted. I sent an investigator over to Ruby Norman's house. She said, I had a stroke 6 months ago, but I've been calling that attorney's office every day for the last 2 weeks asking to come down to court. That's the kind of misrepresentation and lies we want to fight dead on. That's why we've given you the facts. That's why we've given you the full quote from Dan's deposition as opposed to the misrepresentative little snippet that the Republicans gave you. We're madder than wet hens, but we don't think that we think the court of public opinion is going to be this election and not a courtroom 2 years from now. Thank you all.
I just want to wrap this up by saying, you know, a lot of these questions could be answered if Arpaio had the guts to debate Dan Saban. All these kind of questions could be answered. But you have the material, you have everything. You can read through it and let your viewers and listeners make up their mind. Thanks a lot for coming.